Bootleg. It doesn't look like a boot, nor does it look like a leg. What's the deal with that?
Hell if I know, terrible Jerry Seinfeld impression. The route from C to B. Cap C and head into the atrium. Aim down this doorway to pick off anyone that might walk through. Head towards B and aim left to pick off anyone trying to sneak around. I pick off 2 people here, then blow up the truck just in case anyone's hiding behind it. C and B are now secure, and I would highly recommend getting to C because the enemy is probably attacking it. If not, you can push up into a spawn trap at A, which I'll cover later. The route from C to A. Your best bet is to take the outside of the map. Cap C and toss your tactical grenade at this doorway. I like to toss my other one down the hallway. Run in and make your way towards A, but be cautious because there will most likely be people around. Cap A. You now have 2 options. Go to B from the back alley or from the atrium. I chose the back alley due to the response, or rather lack of response, from the enemy from that direction. I kill people not paying attention, and while I use my kill streaks, my team picks up the 3 cap in less than a minute. Head to C because they're probably going to spawn there. There's the alternate route of going through the atrium as well. In this clip, I encounter absolutely 0 resistance from the enemy in Cap A. However, you shouldn't rely on this ever happening. This is incredibly lucky. I will say that this is a good route if you're fast enough, but it's not my favorite. The route from A to C. Before you spawn, you're going to want to enter the following button sequence: L1, R2, R1, L2, triangle, circle, X, square, or on the 360, left trigger, right bumper, right trigger, left bumper, Y, B, A, X. This will activate Beast Mode, making you impossible to kill and give you extra accuracy. After that, well, just find the enemy and mow them down like the chumps they are. Alright, so this is a little unrealistic. Let's take a look at something which represents a more typical experience. Starting at A, you're going to want to make a mad dash to C from the outside. Toss a tactical up to C to stop anyone from getting close. Hug a right and pick off anyone trying to jump off the ledge to get that sweet 360 no scope for their montage. Make your way up the stairs, but be careful for stragglers. This guy behind me tries to be a funny guy and knife me, but I spin and win on his ass. Note that campers like this will ruin any path that you take. Aim into the C spawn building and kill anyone who shows up. I almost die here thanks to my terrible shooting, so I back out. I get the cap and I'm killed from behind. However, my Predator missile cleans up the mess. So how did I do it? Let's toss it up to Dado in the Channel 6 Action Copter. Dado?
Thanks, Dado. As you can see here, the enemy only sends 2 people to B, which is a horrible idea. The next mistake that they make is that both enemies follow each other right behind each other. That is also a bad idea because I have the element of surprise and mow them down with ease. Following that, only one of them comes back, which means I should probably haul ass back to C because they are probably making their way there. They weren't, but that's the smart move. Back to you, Dado.
Alright, well what about C to A? Well, the enemy sends pretty much their entire team to B, leaving A wide open for the taking. The one guy I kill capped A and then headed towards C, which gives me more than ample time to get into that hallway and kill him. The enemy rotates towards the C spawn instead of defending A. Having C and A isn't the best, as I'll explain with an awesome map graphic in a minute, but you should always rack up points while you can. How about that C to A fluke in the atrium? What happened? Well, pretty much the same thing. No one came into the atrium at all, which is very surprising. Everyone headed to B instead. I took A. End of story. Okay, well what about from A to C? That clip from earlier where I go completely ham? It was really just a more extreme version of the typical scenario. Even if you rush C without capping A, the enemy will still beat you to the ledge no matter what. However, you have the better element of surprise because most people don't rush C, therefore most people don't expect it. Plus, you have this giant container thing in the way, protecting you. If any enemies did die, I can say with 99% assurance that the enemy will A. spawn right here, and B. run right into your bullets. The mindset of the typical player is, oh shit, they're taking C, and I need to get back there right now. And they're going to do it via the building or the path right next to the building. This is where you get up all in their face with the shooting and the bullets and the dying. And that's it. This building and doorway give you a perfect line of sight to just own anyone coming in. The correct way is to go flank around, as seen here. There's only so many different directions the person on the cap can look, and in this scenario, it'll probably be towards the building. So as long as you come from any other direction, you will easily kill them. What not to do? You should always avoid controlling A and C. It is nearly impossible to spawn trap the enemy in B due to all the different places that they can spawn. This also gives them many different options to flank, move around, and possibly cap. As an SMG user, this is the bane of my existence on this map because the enemy will tend to camp these long-range lines of sight, which means even more dying. Not to mention that B is hard enough to cap as is, so you might even want to just let them cap A, and while they're doing that, cap B. However, you shouldn't let them cap A until you have enough of a lead that you can still be winning after they cap it. That, or use a smoke grenade and a trophy system, but let's be honest, there's only about 5 people in the game who use smoke grenades. The rest of the game. Spawn trapping in A is the most secure way to win. You can block off every exit point there is. Personally, I find this incredibly boring, because I find myself doing this for 7 minutes, especially if you're playing in a team against randoms. If you're playing solo and everyone else on your team is completely brain dead, then this is fine because you can rack up kills for yourself. Use your best judgment, but spawn trap in A is much more secure than spawn trap in C. With these tips, you'll kick the enemy in the leg with your boot. Okay, what the hell am I supposed to do with bootleg for wordplay? Huh? I don't see any of you comedy geniuses coming up with puns. Why can't I get the clips for underground or resistance? Those are way easier.